Welcome everyone. So this is our third day boot camp, and in this third day boot camp we are exploring the fundamental building block of web development. So our focus will be on key elements that play a crucial role in creating interactive and engaging web pages. Then we will explore forms, user input, hyperlinks, multimedia and table. First, let's emphasize the importance of HTML in a web development. Then we will start with the practical implementation. So HTML, or we can say hypertext markup language, it is the backbone of our web pages. It provides the structure and layout for content on the internet, allowing us to create visually appealing and functional website. So now here I am going to start with creating simple HTML form. So let's create. So first I'm going to take a form tag for creating basic HTML form. So here we have a form tag, form have opening as well as closing tag. So there is you can see there is an opening tag of the form element. It specifies the action attribute. Here what I'm going to do, I'm taking action. It is an attribute, and inside action I'm going to write the action should be submit. And here I'm going to use the method that is called post. I will explain you what is this. So you can see we have an opening tag of the form element. It specifies the action attribute, which is set to submit. When the form is submitted, it will send the form data to the submit URL. So here we are using the method attribute is set to post. So post indicating that the form data will be sent as an HTTP post request. So HTTP post is a secure way of sending your form's information to a specific location on the web, just like sealing a private letter in a wrapper before sending it to a friend. So it's behave like as that private message of that you are sending it to your friend. So it keeps your details safe and private during the journey. Now, after doing this, I am going to take a label tag. Label also have opening as well as closing tag. And inside label, what I am going to take username. Let me save and open side by side web page as well so that it's so clearly. Okay. So in label, I am taking username. Let me split it out. Okay. Inside label name, I am going to take attribute, and that attribute is for. And inside form, I am going to write username. Let me correct the spelling of username as well. Now let me save this. So this is a label element associated with the input field. The for attribute is set to username, linking the label to the input field with the same ID. After that, I'm going to take input field for that username. Let me save this. Now you can see here we have an input field for username. And inside input field, I'm going to use some attribute. The first attribute that I'm going to use is type. And inside type, I'm going to write text. Then we have ID that I explain you, and inside ID, I'm going to take username. Basically, this input field belong to this label that I represent above. So this is an input field for the username. It has the type attribute set to text, indicating that it is a text input. The ID attribute is set to username, which is associated with the corresponding label that I use above. The name attribute is set to username. Here I am going to take one more attribute that we call name. And this attribute is used for username. Let me write here username. And the required attribute also we are going to use here. required. So this required attribute indicated making it mandatory for the user to fill in this field before submitting the form. So in this way, I'm going to create another field for password. Let me copy this only. And instead of username, I'm going to use here password. Now this label field is for password. And instead of username, I'm going to write here password. And here type should be not text. The type should be password. I tell you the difference as well, why we are using this type and how it behaving on a web page. And instead of ID, here what we are going to use password, not username, it's for password. And name should be also password, and it should also required before submitting the form. That's why we are using the required attribute at last. Now, here in password, this is an input field for the password. The type attribute is set to password, which hides the entered character. I will show you in web page as well. And the ID attribute is set to password, linking it to the corresponding label. And the name attribute is set to password, and the required attribute is included, making it mandatory to fill the form before submitting. Let me save this file. Now we want this password not here, below username. For that, what we can use BR tag. BR tag is a self-closing tag that I already explained you in the first video, first day bootcamp. So here also I'm going to take BR tag after username. Let me use BR tag. Okay. Now save this file. Now you can see password come. There is a one line space between username and password. You can take more BR tag, so it will give you the space. So BR tag here is used for line break element, like creating a line break after the username input field and its label. So in this way, now I'm going to make one more field, that is submit. We have username, password, then another one is submit. So here also I'm going to take BR tag because we need one line space. And after this, I'm going to take input field. One moment, I will show you, like here, whenever whatever the text we are writing, it will show. But here we are using type password. So whatever text we are going to enter, it will hide the character. You can see. So that's why we are using this type. It also have some importance. That's why we are taking this attribute type as a text and type as a password. As we are taking type as a password, it will not show the character that we are going to write on our web page. So next we have an input field for submit. Okay, so here it should be type. The type should be submit. And value should be submit. Now this is the submit button. It's an input element with the type attribute set to submit. When the user clicks this button, the form will be submitted and the data will be sent to the specified submit URL that we give here. In this way, we can create a basic form using HTML tag. So in summarize, we can say that this form collects the username, password from the user, ensuring that both fields are filled out before submission. So the form then send the data to the submit URL using the HTTP post method. So in this way, you can create any form. So this is the basic idea that I will give to you. So you can create many more form, like we have a contact form in which we have a contact details like phone number, email, and message. For message, you can use type as a text field. So you can get a text field box instead of input box. So in this way, you can create lots of form. You can take an idea from MDN and you can create a form. Now, we are going to learn about linking pages with hyperlink. How can we link it? So let me take h1 tag for this, for giving heading here. I'm going to take h1 tag for creating a simple basic form. After this, we are going to learn about linking pages with hyperlink. Okay. All right. So the foundation of linking page is the anchor tag, or we can say anchor element. This element is used to create hyperlinks, allowing user to navigate between different pages on your website. So the anchor tag is denoted by a tag. This is our anchor tag. It also have opening as well as closing. So anchor element need an href attribute inside opening tag, which stand for hypertext reference. Let me take it. This is a href attribute. It stands for hypertext reference. So this attribute specifies the destination of the link. There are two types of paths you can use, relative and absolute. I will tell you the difference also. What is the difference between relative path and absolute? So you can use any of them. So relative path, in relative path, what happened? These are the path relative to the current page. For example, if you are on the home page right now, and if you want to go to the about page, for that you can use like this, / and you can use about. So you can go in a same directory if you want to go on a about page. So you can use like this. So the this is a / and after it, whatever the page you want to go, you can use like this. For example, let me write here some text about. Let me save this. Let's suppose you are on a home page, and home page is denoted by index.html. Now you want to go on about page on a same directory. For that, when you click on it, you can see you are in the same directory, but it is a about page. So in this way, it's called relative path. So this path related to the current page. If you are on the home page and you want to link to the about page in the same directory, you can use leading / and indicating the root directory. And what is absolute path? So absolute path, in absolute path, you have to give complete URLs that specify the location of the link page. For example, if you want to use a relative path, again we have a anchor tag. Inside anchor tag, we are going to use href attribute only, but this attribute denoted as absolute path. Now here I am going to write Facebook and save it. I just want, whenever I want to click on it, I want to navigate to the Facebook page. For that, I can use absolute path. Let me open Facebook. Now I'm clicking on it. Now you can visit to the Facebook. So you have to give a complete location of the link page for using this absolute path. You have to use complete URLs that specify the location of the link page, and you can, in this way, you can move to that particular link. Now moving on to the multimedia content. So we have two essential elements for adding multimedia content. You can use audio and video. So these elements allow you to embed any audio that you want to embed it in your HTML file. Like if you want to show on your web page, for that you can use audio. And if you want to embed any video, so for that you can use the files directly into your web page. So for both elements, you use the source element to specify the source file and its type. For example, if you want to put some audio on your web page, so for that you have an audio tag. And inside audio tag, you are going to use source attribute. Not here, inside it. Here we have a source, and inside source I'm going to use source attribute. And you are going to give, let's suppose I'm giving some example, audio dot mp3. And here I'm going to use another attribute that is called type. Type should be audio mp3, and it should be control. Okay. So to obtain the path URL for an audio file, you can give the correct location. In this way, you can add any audio. Now it's not working because I'm not giving the correct path. So you can copy the path. You have to ensure that the audio file, like in case if it is audio.mp3, is stored in a directory accessible by your HTML file. You can check this. So if audio file is in the same directory as your HTML file, you can simply use the file name. If you have any audio file here, you can directly use your file name and give it to the source attribute. If both HTML file and audio file are in the same directory, so in this case you have to use that. If audio file is in different directory and you need to provide relative path from your HTML file to the audio file, so for that you have to copy that URL, full URL. Then you can use that. So now I don't have any audio or video. You can do, like I will give you the assignment for that and you can do by your own. But make sure you have to put the correct URL. Then in this way, we can also use video. So for video, what I'm going to do, let me show you that as well. Inside video, I'm going to use same source. Inside source, I'm going to src attribute. Inside src attribute, I'm going to give video dot mp4, and the type should be video slash mp4. And here you have to write the controls so that it can control. Now we don't have any video. Now we have video. So for getting the video, you have to use correct URL path, or you can, if you are in the same, if you have any video in the same directory file, so directly you have to give the source to that video in this only. So in this way, you can create a video as well, that I will give you in an assignment, like using the correct path. How can you reflect the video here on your web page? Now, here after this, I am going to show you some more thing about forms. Like if you want to use, like these all are the simple basic type, that username, password or submit button. There are many more, like if you have to use messages and if you have to use some numbers, so for that how can you use? So for that you can go to the W3 website, and from there you can get lots of reference, like how you can create a form using different tags. As a reference, you can use W3 school. You can get lots of things here. Let me now here you can get lots of things how you can create a form. Just scroll it down. In this way, you can search like how can you use the text field. Then you have an attribute, forms attribute. What all are the form attribute that you can use? We have in select. If you want to put some drop down for like, let me show you that as well. So it's easy for you to do that. And after it, you can take a reference from here. Okay. Let's suppose we have one more field. Let me give it label. And this field is for gender. Okay. Inside gender, we have an input field. Not input field. For gender, we are going to use select. And inside select, we have two field options for male, female, and you can take one more for others. So here I'm going to give option. So the first option is male. You can see the first option is male, and then we have another option that is for female. One more option, others. So now whenever you are clicking on it, you get three options, male, female and other. Let me give some break here so that it looks good. Okay. So in this way, you can search any, like there are lots of field and lots of attribute. You can check it from W3 school and use it and practice it. Like we have a text area for messages. We have a button fields. We have a option or OPT group. So you can check one by one how these attributes work. And we have some input types, as when you use input type as a button, so it will give you the button. Checkboxes is something like that. There are box, empty box. When you click on it, it comes in a blue color tick. You can use type. You can use any field, like for date. If you want to show date on your form, like which date you have to submit the form, so you can use input field and give the attribute type as a date. So from W3 school, if you get any doubts, any confusion, you can check it from here and practice it. There are lots of exercises that is freely available. You can go to that website and practice and try to do it by your own by doing practical implementation on VS Code. So in this way, you can practice. Now, after learning how to create a simple basic form and how to link pages with hyperlinks, and we can see the relative and absolute path as well, and how can we add audio, video, and after that we are going to learn how can we create a table in using HTML tag and so on our web page. So let me put another heading, introduction to tables and data structure. So in web development, tables are used to organize and display data in a structured format. The fundamental element involved in creating tables are we have a table tag, then we have a tr tag, then we have a th tag. I will explain you what is the use of these all tags. Let me explain you one by one. Inside table, we have first table tag. So this table tag is the main container for the table. And after that, we have a tr tag. What is this TR tag? TR stand for table row and it is used to define a row in a table. Like how many rows we are going to use in a table. For that we are using table row. And after table row we have TH. Let me scroll up so that it's visible to you. Okay. After TR stand for table row. After TR we have a TH tag. So what is this TH? TH stand for table header. It's used to label the column or rows in our table. Let me write, we have first th as a name. Let me save this. This is your table header cell. Like it's used to label the how many columns or rows you have. Then again I'm copying this th tag and pasting it. Next you have a age. Let me save this. After age I'm going to take another row. This row for how many heads we have in a row, name or age. Then we have another tr tag, and in this tr tag I'm going to take td tag. Td stand for table data and represent a standard cell in the table containing data, what data you have. For example, here you are going to write your name. Any name you can write John. Name should reflect in another row as a name field John. Name is of John. And what is the age? Then after it again you can use another td tag and you can show the age is 25. And below, 1 minute, save it, and below age you can see you can get 25 because we are writing in another row. We are creating the another row. For th we have one row as name and age, and for naming that person we are creating another tr tag, and inside tr tag we are storing data. So for that we are taking td tag. You can see the header, the name and age is little bold because we are using th, and header is showing like it's a main heading of anything. So that's why it's coming in a bold format, and zone is a data, so it's little bit light as comparison to that. Now, after taking this, I'm going to take, you can create more, like not 1, 3, you can create more. Now we have, let me copy this only and paste it below and change the name. But it's not looking good. We need some lining so that we can understand. So for giving lining, for adding border around the table and give a look visibility, for that we can use attribute called border, and inside table I'm going to use border attribute. Let me give some border, and inside border I'm going to write 1. Let me save this. Now I'm getting the border for table for my each field, name, age, and let me change the name as well. You can add more headers, like if you have more details like phone number, and if you want to add some messages for that person, so for that you can make more fields in ts tag, and after that you can give some messages and some phone number as well inside table data, that is td tag. So here I'm going to change this name, change the number as well, it's up to you. Let me save this. And if you want to more, like you need one more header, for example, this header for phone number. And here you can write phone number by creating one more TD for each row. So in this way, you can create a table tag. So the basic structure of table involves rows and columns. Rows are created with the TR element. Within each row, you define header cell for column label and data cell. For actual data you are going to use. Let me give one more TD tag for phone number so that it looks good. You can add any number. Right now I'm not giving any number to any field. Just I'm showing like you can add phone number. In table you can add anything by giving TH and using TR. So after this, in this way you can create a table and data by using HTML tag. And from W3 school, as I told you, you can get lots of reference from here only, like as a form, how can you use HTML forms, what all are the attribute that you can use, and you can use it practically also. Let me show you more thing. Here you can see, you can try by your own self also. So when clicking on it, you can see the label for F name, like first name, you can use it like that. This is a submit button. This is a simple table, and in this way you can check it out many more. Now if you want to see table, this is our HTML tables, and here you can get lots of things. You can get lots detail. How can you use table data? How can you create a table row, different table row, and how can you add more attribute to it so that it's look good. So while learning CSS after HTML, then I will show you like how can you add, how can you make it more interactive and dynamic. So from here you can take a reference and you can learn. And here we have a table border attribute. So which border you want to use, you can take the attribute from here. This is a CSS part. We can add CSS like border should how it should looking, the width should be how much. So it's defined by CSS only. You can see the table sizes, which sizes you want to use as per your own choice. You can use by giving CSS, and inside table only you can use internal style, like width should be 100% like this. You can check it out from here. So you can see there are lots more things: table header, padding and spacing. And we have a table styling as well. So while learning CSS, we can learn. Here you can see we have a background color on every other table row. You will get a nice zebra strips effect. So in today video, what we learn, we will learn about how to create a simple basic form and how can we attach audio video file to a web page. And then we learn about how can we use anchor tag if we are on a home page, and if we want to navigate it to the about page. For that, how can we use source href attribute and how can we navigate it to that website. And after that we will learn about table data structure, how can we create a basic table. And we will learn one more attribute inside table. We can use border for giving the line so that it's look good. So now I'm hovering here, and our team will send you the link, send the link for attendance sheet. So go and fill your attendance sheet. Kindly attention to everyone, just go and fill the attendance sheet. Link is sent to you.